Welcome to Disrespectfully Agree with Oatman and LJ. I am LJ. Across from me is Mr. Oatman.
What's good in the hood, baby?
And we have a guest with us today, Rezi. Welcome.
Hey, thank you guys.
Rezi is a dear friend who is a comic book savant, I would like to say. He probably knows as much about the comic book world than anybody I know. So I had to have him on to share some of his knowledge, his wit, and wisdom. So enjoy, guys.
All right.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so looking forward to talking to you today about this movie, Bright, starring James Caan and Mandy Patinkin.
Oh, no.
No.
You watched the wrong movie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, Will Smith and Joel Edgerton in Alien Nation. That's
well, you're closer.
Okay,
closer.
No. Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black.
No.
Bad Boys?
It's Bad Boys 3.
You got it. Yeah,
Bad Boys 3.
Yes,
Back in the
Joel
Hood.
Edgerton, with orcs. There we go. That's what I was looking for.
There it is. No milk in this one. What was it? Milk is their alcohol.
Rotten milk.
Rotten milk. That's right.
No acid, salt water, right?
Right. All right. This directed by David Ayer, stars Will Smith, Joel Edgerton. Before I tell you how much I hated this movie, let's start with our guest extraordinaire. When did you see this?
I saw this early this morning. It was a refresher. Will Smith made a big deal about it.
You've seen this twice?
Will Smith made a big deal about it on the Jimmy Kimmel Show last year, somewhere around November when they were releasing the movie. Uh-huh. And I sat and watched it and said, it reminded me too much of the aforementioned Alien Nation. Sure. So I stepped away from it. Then Mike told me about your wonderful podcast. I had a chance to listen to the inaugural show. I thought it was fantastic. You guys were amazing. You were funny, insightful. And you said, he told me to give a look at Bright and then bring it again. So it was sitting there and saying, okay, I'm going to give this movie another chance. And I actually started at the beginning rather than Netflix suggesting pick up where you resumed. And I just said, no, I'm going to start again. And
all right. How far did you get in the first time?
I got into where they found a wand and it was
That's a good ways in. It's like half hour maybe.
And I said, I can't do it. I just can't do it. So I stopped. And then instead of picking up there, I had to remember what was all those months ago. And,
my God. All right, well, you're a trooper. So what's your verdict, sir?
I'm looking at, for those of you who haven't seen it, they're going to be spoilers as the gentleman comment to let you know. But you're looking at, I would say, J.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, all of them have now met with 2017. Apparently there was this great war, and now we have orcs, fairies, and elves living among us.
To be fair, it felt more like 1990s to me, but this did not feel like a contemporary movie at all.
It didn't.
But go ahead.
Will Smith and Joel Edgerton are partners, and something happens in the beginning where we now have this friction, maybe a few months later, between Joel's character, Nick, who's an orc, and Will Smith character, who is decidedly human, I guess, human officer. And they have their back and forth, say, like a Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. It's your typical cop drama / comedy, whatever you want to call it. We've seen a billion times, but this time it's with an orc and a human. Let's cut to the chase. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Where are you at?
Thumbs all the way down.
All the way.
I'm sorry, Will. I mean, I had to put it in the dirt, feel worms. Maybe I can even dig my way to Middle Earth with my thumbs and get the better story from Tolkien and his Lord of the Rings series. But yeah, this one I can't go with. Maybe the only bright light would be the actress Noomi Rapace, if I can mention her. I liked her, but if you want to see a better movie with her on Netflix, everyone go to What Happened to Monday. I would rather you have to watch that one instead of watching.
I saw the trailer. It didn't look like anything.
Oh my goodness! Talk about. I know we're talking about Bright, but talk about an acting achievement. I mean, she gives an actual tour de force because she's forced to play
a bunch of different characters.
8 characters, Monday through Friday, which are the 7, and then the one character that they all have to pretend to play.
Right.
And that was just an amazing feat. I love her in that one.
All right, I'll
liked
check her
her
out
in this one, but
she doesn't do anything really. In this, there's nothing much for Oatman. Where are you at on this?
Well, I think Rez hit it right out of the park in the very beginning. It's not that it's a bad movie.
Yes, it is.
Well, I'll say this: it's an okay movie.
No, I'm sorry. I'll stop. I can't help it.
This is fun.
I can't help it. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's an okay movie if you're a 13-year-old and you're right.
This was written by a 13-year-old. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but to me, it had the feel of a kids movie. Like if you, that's what it felt like. It felt like a kids movie to me. It's so simplistic, and not only that, there's another film that's looming over its head for anybody over the age of 30 that is so far superior, that does almost the exact same thing, which is Alienation. So anybody who's seen Alienation, and
but that's old, man.
Yeah, but I would say even that or the series, to see this set alongside it,
but you have to admit,
painful.
It's the same thing that people always do. I mean, you look at the reviews that Alienation got when it first came out. People said, "Oh, it's nice, it's different," but I'm going to go thumbs down or whatever. And then you get other films that are these cop buddy dramas that make you look back in appreciation of what they're doing after you see something like Bright.
Alienation in its day, for a lot of science fiction people, that got a lot of love in its day. Now, there were some general reviewers who don't know their ass from a hole in the wall who didn't appreciate what was being done there. But people who know the genre appreciated what they were doing in its day. I'm saying this thing right here is for 13-year-olds. It's very simplistic. Some of the tropes are so naked. So the second that they mention, oh, Will Smith had some issue and got shot, and they're setting that whole thing up. Oh, he let an orc go. You know, it's showing his hand so much. You're like, oh, come on, man. Can't we be more clever than this? I mean, Alienation was such a superior film. And not only that, did such a much better job of building the world of the aliens so that we understood what the stakes and the rules are.
The actual movie you're discussing, or you're talking the TV series?
The movie did it better. The movie did it better than what they did.
Well, of course, yeah.
You know, I mean, it just built that world better so that when there are these moments of conflict, the stakes are so much more heightened. With this one, the orc world is so allegorical that it doesn't build into a world
so nakedly itself. Exactly what it's trying to do is present, you know, the alienation thing, but here's a race of people that are put upon, marginalized, persecuted, and it's so nakedly trying to be.
It never pulls away from the allegory.
I mean, it's straight up. They're wearing thug, you know, kind of.
Yeah, orcs are black people. I get it.
That's what it is, and it's so. That aside, that it's this film from a script level is, I feel like it's written by a 13-year-old who's seen, you know, a bunch of crappy cop movies, and also likes fantasy. The events that happen are nonsensical, non-connected. Things happen for no reason. People meet up for no reason. The editing is atrocious. This is a first pass. Nobody did a second pass on this edit.
Well, first of all, for all the things that they are attempting to do, Alienation essentially tried to integrate us into the world of one alien race. I don't know how you would even attempt to do this story and not create a series of pieces to actually do this. I don't think you can do it in a movie. I think the attempt to do it in a movie is just foolishness on its face. If you're going to do this, you have to create a series of maybe 10 episodes or more and actually delve into the sort of the placement of each race and how that affects every other race that they encounter. There's no attempt to do that. There's no world building in here. And you got all these different various life forms. Like there's certain life forms in here that to me seem like they could be sentient, but it's okay to swat them like flies. And stuff like that. I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
But then they also too gave you this world where it's all false to begin with. Okay. Like you said, there are too many characters, too many different races of people to understand how they interact with each other. But then they also gave you the unreal situation. They gave you this magic wand that everyone is after, this nuclear wish.
But here's the problem with the wand. The wand is very few people can hold this. Only Bright can hold it. And among humans, there's 1 in a million that can hold it or whatever. Yeah. And everybody is acting like this is the thing they need. This is going to give them everything they want. But doesn't everybody also know as soon as they touch it, they die? Just give it to whoever wants it, and you'll be able to pick it back up in 5 seconds. Oh, no, you
can't do that because the Dark Lord will come if the other woman gets this wand.
But she isn't anywhere.
It's a whole mess. But see, what you were saying to what you said earlier about alienation, theirs was a drug problem, this kind of drug that was there, a super drug. And so you can kind of relate with that because it does bleed a little bit into the real world. But now you're telling me this magic wand, it's like, okay, now what's the allegory? Where are you telling me that this wand is like what to make me feel obliged to watch your movie? What is it connecting me to? And it connected me to absolutely nothing. What he said is truth. It was garbage.
I stopped watching this movie 3 times. 3 times. I stopped watching.
And I finished it.
And yesterday, no, I finished it eventually. Okay. But yesterday, I was halfway through. I hit pause. I'm like, oh my God, this thing's 2 hours long. I was only 1 hour into it. And I spent a few minutes thinking, what if I didn't finish? What if I got to recording and I said, you know what, guys, it's too bad. I couldn't even finish. But I powered through. I got through the whole thing. Every moment is false. The characters. Can we talk? Just every character in this thing is an asshole for no reason.
Well, let's switch it around. What did we like about it?
Nothing.
There's got to be something. What did you like
again,
about
I'm going to go with Nomi Rapace.
Other than that.
Okay, all right. Other than that, where can I give them? I like the, okay. Usually when you have those cop buddy films, one guy knows this, the other guy knows that, they're able to get along with it. But I like the innocence that they kept, the Nick character, the Joel Edgerton character. I kind of like that. I want to be a cop because, it's the right thing. And then it talked about him not being blooded, which is to honor an orc and make them a full orc. But if you're not blooded, you're this bastardized person walking around.
Did you like the scene where he finally got blooded and the orcs over there like...
Yeah, it was, that was just too over the top.
No.
All of a sudden, no. All of a sudden, everybody is holding up their claw in recognition of him, and he has tears in his eyes. He's proud now. I couldn't stand it.
The best thing I can say about this is that the Joel Edgerton.
Edgerton. Yeah.
His character almost was something. It was almost something, but it wasn't. It just wasn't developed enough.
There wasn't enough time.
Even if there was time,
you should have been able to do something. You should have been able to pull a rabbit out of the hat somewhere.
Well, they were doing so much in terms of the action. There's so much plot happening here. There's not enough time for that character.
But they also spent way too much time on scenes between Edgerton and Smith that go nowhere.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of time on that, and they don't add up to anything. There are moments where he expresses naivete to an extent where shouldn't he know that already? It seems like these characters have never met before, so they're having conversations. They're saying things to each other they both should know, or they're saying things they don't know but should. But he seems both naive and street smart, and I don't know which it is. And at the end, we get this scene that I guess is supposed to be a culmination, spoilers, of their relationship and their dynamic where he's saying everything to the feds, and he shouldn't. And that scene could have been great if an editor had their hands on it, and it just goes on to play the joke, the same note in that joke for about twice as long as they need to. His performance was almost something.
And in the end, I think the worst thing about the film,
you started. What's good about it? This was you. You were saying, what do we like about this?
I really liked. There were a couple moments with the Edgerton character that I liked.
You're stealing mine.
But it's true. To me, that's the best thing in the film. And I think you put it exactly right. You look at that character, you say, with a little bit of trying, that character could have been something. Mm-hmm. It's not there, but man, with a little rewriting and a little redirecting, that character has legs to go someplace. It just never gets there. But I think the worst part of the film is that it feels like the people who made the film are not aware of alienation. Because if they were, to me, if I'm writing a play and I know that there's a play exactly like that, then that informs the way I write that play. I want to write it differently because I don't want it to be sort of the same knockoff of the play that is sort of familiar in everybody's lore. And so just to me, the idea that you're doing the same movie, just not as good, that's not a remake, to me, that's just a weird choice. Like, I would have made choices to make Bright something different. Maybe with some of the same characters, maybe not a cop buddy film, but something different to tell this story when you know the alienation, both the film and series, are out there hanging over your head. To me, that makes no sense. It's almost as if the filmmakers don't have a grasp of the genre that they're trying to compete in. To me, that was the biggest screw up of the filmmakers. And shame on Will Smith. He should know better.
I will give him credit. It looked like he was trying to do his best.
Will Smith was being. You take Will Smith. Really? Will Smith was just simply being Will Smith.
He was
something. It's like, oh, it's Will Smith.
Did you believe that he was some grizzled cop?
But
for 1 second,
no.
But did you not see a telegraph that he would actually be a Bright? He might be
the
one
to hold. Of course,
yeah.
You saw that coming.
Of course, he was wearing a T-shirt that says "I'm a damn Bright." I mean, come on.
All right, fair enough. He seemed to, I guess I got nothing. Will Smith, I wanted to. He was doing the Will Smith thing, as you were saying.
Shame.
What?
Shame on him. I'm not saying shame on him as an actor. I'm saying shame on him because he's a producer.
He's a producer.
You should know better. Shame.
I mean, this is the guy who brought us Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad was good.
Oh my God,
Michael.
no,
That was good.
Mike,
no.
Yes,
Yeah.
Please,
no,
correct my friend Mike, please.
No, Mike.
Suicide Squad in comparison to this was
Okay,
good.
well then,
Well, if you wanna
all right,
compare
fine.
it,
If
you're-
you want to
what-
say Suicide Squad is good, which characters? Because the movie itself sucked,
Joker?
okay.
Hello?
No.
No. Leto's
absolutely wrong.
performance as a Joker. No, give it up. No, stop it.
That guy
Oh,
was
Here's the thing.
The worst-
I'm not in love with Suicide Squad. It was fine. It was pretty throwaway to me.
Passable.
It was
That's
passable. It was fine. But I'm saying, in compared to this, it's the Godfather of science fiction.
all right, but
movies.
that's like saying this. They're both turds, but this one's not as big.
Oh, this one floats. Yeah.
Yeah, this one was horrible.
That's great, but
like
whatever.
I could, when I watched Suicide Squad, I didn't feel like, I can't get to the end of this. With Bright, I was really like, oh my god.
All right, fair
Kinda-
enough, but you did defend Suicide Squad. You said
Yeah.
it was good.
Yeah, it's a
If-
good movie.
if I'm gonna-
it's not a great movie.
If I'm
but it's
going
a
to
solid
give-
science fiction.
If
movie.
I'm going to give
Fine.
anybody any props in Suicide Squad, it goes to Margot Robbie. It'll go to
Margot Robbie was great.
what is his man's name? I feel bad. His last name is Hernandez, but
Yeah, the
he was
Hispanic
the
guy with
yeah,
the fire.
he was
Yeah.
the flame guy.
He was
I
great.
like his presentation, and then Viola Davis always sells it. But everyone else, I was like, oh my.
Here's
goodness,
the thing. I'm not
no.
saying that it's a great film, but it's a good film. It's solid.
I can't even go good.
I can't
Yeah,
go there.
it's a good film.
The thing where, okay, here's your Suicide Squad, your group of people who, nastier people are going to face nastier evils, but then the person inside your group is the nasty evil you're going after. It's like you created something that became a problem. Now you're using
Well,
your
well,
problem
what
solver
I would say to
solve
you,
the
Rez,
problem you created.
That's why it's not a great film. When I say good, I don't mean that I'm putting it up in the list of Pantheon. It's a fairly forgettable film, but it's as entertainment, I thought it was decent. I thought it was, you said it yourself, I thought it was passable. Passable mean that it passes.
No,
so
the
I
character-
give it
No,
a
it can,
passable
the characters
grade.
are-
characters can be passable. I can accept them, but the movie as a whole, now that's when I pulled an LJ. I had to actually force myself about 3-4 times, and then I finally got it straight through the 5th time. I didn't go to sleep.
what?
Suicide Squad. I didn't go to sleep. I stayed awake for the rest of it.
I saw it in a movie theater. It was fine.
Yeah, I was trapped in that theater. It was
It was fine.
the characters. Margot Robbie is fine, but it's not. All right, I'm not gonna criticize the film because it's not what I want it to be. Let's criticize it for what it is. The characters are empty. They lack any kind of nuance or meaning. The best they have is Will Smith, who is the classic, oh, I'm doing this for my daughter, blah, 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 nonsense. There's nothing to hold on
Fire
to.
Guy did nothing for you.
No, there's no character to hold on
Fire
to.
Guy did nothing for you.
I liked him in that the
course.
only drama they gave him because his powers were the something that killed
Margot
and took
Robbie
away his
wasn't good in
family.
that film.
Margot?
Yeah.
She pulled off a credible Harley Quinn. I thought so,
There you
yeah.
go.
She
But I
did
just
an
didn't buy
impression.
her character being with
See,
Joker. Even
y'all
as
should
wild
argue
and
that
sad
out.
she
'cause
would be.
He
but-
thinks she did an impression. You thought she was fairly good. I think she was fairly good. He thinks the Hispanic guy shouldn't have been on the film. You
No,
seem
I
to
did
like
not
him.
say that. I did not say that there's just not enough to hold on to. There's a little bit of something there, but there's just not enough to hold on to. And of course,
Viola Davis.
no, she was just the cigar chomping bad guy.
Viola Davis.
Only, and I like her performance only because I compared it with
Just
another
stop right-
something
just
that I saw.
stop right there. I liked her performance. Me
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So I mean, there are 3 standout. At least for we agree, there are 3 standout performances right there. I thought Will Smith. I thought his backstory was pretty crappy, but I thought his performance was pretty decent. Not great, but pretty decent. So
No, because I was still sitting there going, Will Smith is still being Will Smith. He cannot escape himself. In just about a lot of movies that he's been in, he can't escape himself.
Occasionally he does. I Am Legend. I think he does a pretty good job.
I'm going to stick with Vincent Price. And I'm
Well,
going to
all right,
overlook,
all right,
and I'll
fair enough.
overlook
Well, that's-
Charleston Heston.
that's not fair, though.
That's silly. That's like saying I'm going to stick to Michael Jordan. Well, yeah,
It's like-
he's Michael Jordan. I mean,
Well, there are a lot of
he's
people-
He's
yeah,
Vincent Price. I mean,
Yeah,
come
well, there are
on.
a lot of people that go with LeBron James.
But to compare, Will Smith ain't LeBron James. I mean, he's not. I mean,
He's definitely not
He's
with,
Vincent
Vincent
Price.
Price.
I mean, who don't stick with Vincent Price?
I'm
Yeah,
ju-
but
I'm
Vincent
not- I'm
Price
not-
was supposedly the hammiest actor at the time, you know. But
He's
now you look back on that
Vincent
Price. Yeah, well, okay.
My point is not to compare, say, his performance is better or worse than Price. My point is Will Smith is capable of other things and putting in solid performances. He doesn't always choose to do that, and he's not always in a movie that requires it. Bright, shining example.
True.
But I don't think he's incapable of doing something else. That said, final thoughts on Bright, thumbs down all across the board?
Thumbs down.
Right.
You can show it to the kids. It's a kids movie.
They'll enjoy the colors.
No, don't show this to kids. This is this is the worst kind of junk food. It's full. I mean, sure, it has a lot of swear words, and kids will enjoy that, but it's so false. It seemed like it's like a 13-year-old. I'm going to put a bunch of F words in this. That'll be awesome. No, this is junk food. Don't give this to children.
Yeah, either stay above ground or stick to Middle Earth. That's it. Don't try and mesh the two together.
And with that, we will talk at you next time. Bye.
Peace and chicken grease.